All right. Lesson 8.7, the last lesson of chapter 8 is about circles. We're going to learn about circumference of circles, area of circles, and then area of sectors. Okay, first we're going to start with circumference. Can anyone tell me what circumference of a circle is?
It's like,
What is it? What does the circumference mean?
the absolute area itself, or
It's
circle
the
itself.
Distance around the circle. So think perimeter. It's the distance around the circle. Okay, area, what does area mean? What does area always meant?
How much space it takes up.
How much space it takes up. Okay, that doesn't change. Talking about circumference first. This is your friend. 2 pi r. What does r stand for in a circle? What does that r stand for?
Radius.
It's right here. It's the radius. Yep. Okay, let's talk about parts of a circle for a second. If this is the radius, if I extend this line all the way through, what's that called? Starts with a D. Diameter, yep. You will see diameter sometimes, but all we care about is the radius. Okay, so looking at the circumference equals 2 pi r. Plug in what you know. Okay, circumference equals 2 pi, what's the radius?
3.4.
Radius is 4, yep. When solving for this, okay, make it simple. 2 times 4 first. What's 2 times 4? 8. And then we still have pi. Now in your calculators, you want to type 8 times pi. 8 times pi. Do not use 3.14. Use the actual pi button.
That is the pi button.
If you do not know, I will help you after notes. What's 8 times pi? Anybody got it? 25.13, I heard.
25.13274.
Now with circumference, what should my label be? Just inches, right? Why is it not inches squared?
Because we're not squaring it.
Can I go get some tissue real quick?
So the circumference of that circle is 25.13 inches. Okay. Any questions on the circumference formula? What's the only thing we care about in that formula again? What's the only thing we need to know? The only thing we need to get from that circle is the radius. Okay, go ahead and do those next 3. Circumference again, what is the formula for circumference? I know, you all just used it. What is it?
2.
There you go. 2 pi r. Okay, plug in what you know. On number 1, 2 pi, what's the radius? 6. What do we need to do first? 2 times 6? 12 pi. What'd you get when you multiplied 12 times pi? 37.6. And then with circumference, what do we label? Centimeters. Yep. I'm going to jump down to number 3. Why does number 3 look a little different? It gave us the diameter. What do we want? We want the radius. What is the radius? How do you find the radius from the diameter?
16 divided by 2.
Yep, 16 divided by 2, which is 8.
Times pi.
What's 2 times 8?
Or wait.
16 pi. 16 times pi? 50.2. 26. What would our label be for circumference? Inches. Yep. Good. Questions? We're okay with circumference? Okay. Move on with area of a circle. Now, area of a circle, that formula looks like pi r squared. So circumference was 2 pi r. Area is pi r squared. Again, what's the only thing we need from the circle for this formula? It's the same thing, right? We just need the radius. Okay, so plug in what we know. What's the radius? Yep. So we have pi times 7 squared. What does that squared mean? Times it by itself. 7 times 7? 49. Pi, type in 49 times pi. What do you get? 153.9. Since it's area, what does our label have to be? Has to be squared. Centimeters squared. Because we're still talking about square feet. Or square inches. Or square centimeters. Okay. Questions on the area? All right. Now, you're going to see these again. Look at what it gives you. What does it give us? It gives us the area, right? So which formula do you think we're going to use, the area or the circumference? It gives us the area, so we want to use the area. Okay, so area equals, what's the formula for area again? Pi r squared. Plug in what you know. Do we know A? 380, good. And then do we know the radius? No, that's what we want to solve for. What should we do first? Divide by what? We want to divide by pi first, because we want to get r by itself. So if we divide by pi, what's 380 divided by pi? Okay, leave that in your calculator, because what we have left is r squared. What do I need to do to get r by itself? What's the opposite of square? Square root. Opposite of a square is a square root. So in your calculator, you're going to take the square root of that number. What do we get? Yep. 10.9. What would my label be? Feet. Why feet? Yep, we already know the area. We were just looking for the measure of the radius. Okay. Are there any questions with the area formula? Okay. Go ahead and try these three with the area. What's the formula for area of a circle again? What's the formula for area of a circle? We just talked about it. Heard it. Pi r squared. Talking about area, so we need the area formula. Plug in what you know. What's the only thing we need to know? 8 squared. So what do we need to get first? 8 squared, which is 64. Pi, what's 64 times pi? Say that one more time. 201. What is my label? Inches squared. Yep, because it's area. Good. I want to jump to number 6. How is number 6 different than number 4? Because it's the whole thing. We want the radius. How do I find the radius? 12 divided by 2. So we get 6 for the radius. Plug that into the formula. What's 6 squared? 36 times pi. It's 36 times pi. 113. What's my label for that? Feet squared. Good. Any questions over the area formula? Doing all right? Okay, there's one we have to talk about, and that's area of a sector. Okay? What's a sector? If I'm talking about that diagram right there, what does sector mean? Sector is a part of it, right? It's a section. So what's the sector of the circle? 120. Why do they have it in degrees? Because it's a circle, right? A portion of that is however many degrees it covers. Okay? So for this formula, everyone write this down. This is area of a sector. So we have the measure of the sector, and put S for sector, divided by 360. Why do you think we divide by 360? Because that's the whole thing, right? Part over whole, we talked about that last chapter. That's ratios. Okay, that's the ratio of that sector. Okay, and then we're going to multiply that by pi r squared. What's pi r squared? What does that stand for? The area, right? The area of the circle. That's pi r squared. Okay, so the only thing we added to this from the area of the whole circle is this ratio part. Okay, because we only want the area of the inside sector. Okay, so just plug in what you know. Area, what's the measure of the sector? 120. 120 divided by 360 times, and then what's the radius? 9 squared. Okay? Now, this is the biggest part. If you have this, you're on the right track. Okay? How do we solve from here?
Divided.
Figure out your area first. Figure out that part first. So if I have 120 divided by 360, what's 9 squared? 81 times pi. What's 81 times pi? 254. Okay. How can I finish solving for the area of the sector? You're thinking cross multiply, you're close. Okay? Yeah. Treat this as over 1. Now just multiply straight across. So take that 254 times 120. And then what would your last step be? Divide by 360. Yep. 120 times 254 divided by 360. Does anyone have that?
84.6.
Say that one more time.
84.66.
84.6. What would my label be? What are we looking for?
Meters
We're looking for area. So it needs meters squared. We're looking for that area of the circle. So since it's area, remember we want squared for our label. Okay? Now, how can you check to see if your answer is in the right area, in the right vicinity? You could plug it back in, okay? But what did this number give us right here?
They gave us
What does that stand for? Related to the circle, what is this? 254. It's the whole circle, right? It's the area of the circle. Now, the sector was 120 degrees of that.
take it out.
Does this look right compared to this? Of like 120 degrees? Yes, kind of. Does it look right? Go ahead and try number 10 on that last slide. Try number 10. Number 10, we're finding the area of the sector. Remind me, what is the formula for area of a sector?
Area equals pi r squared.
What do we find first? That ratio, right? The measurement of the sector is 90. What do we divide that by?
360.
Good. 360. What's the second part of the formula? The area. Pi r squared. Now plug in what we know. What did we say the radius was? 5 squared. Good. So area. Find out the area first. What's 5 squared? 25 times pi. What'd you get for 25 times pi? 78.5. Are we all okay here? Right there, I just figured out what the area was. Okay. Now, how do I solve for the area of the sector?
Cross multiply.
Not cross multiply. We're going to multiply right, sideways. 9 times 78.5. And then what's my last step? Divide by 360. What do we get for our final answer? 19.6. Right. We're looking for area, so we want centimeters squared. Good. Any questions over the 3 formulas that we have?
They make no sense.
Okay.